Welcome to Nemanja Unfiltered. Let's wait for the others because we started a little bit early, and then we'll see what are some topics that we're gonna cover, and we're gonna go fully unfiltered. I'm expi- inspired today. Uh, I've been listening to a good music, doing a damn good job when it comes to uh, the work I'm doing with clients, and it's time to do a hell of an episode. Let's just check if we are live on LinkedIn, and then we'll go. And then we'll go. If you're joining, let me know where you're joining from. How are you? What's new? What's old? And all these things. Is it the first time that you are listening to Nemanja Unfiltered, or the second, or the third, or this is your fourth, volume four of Nemanja Unfiltered? So I'm drinking coffee and I'm talking things without hiding shit and without actually holding back from anything. So yeah, we are live. I can see that. So it's time that we go on and dive deeper into the topics that we prepared for today. Let me just check if the sound is okay because I can't hear shit in my headphones, to be honest. Yeah, we are good. That was me. Okay, guys. Let's start. Welcome to Nemanja Unfiltered. This is the weekly show, if you don't know that yet, where I call bullshit on B2B marketing myths and share what's actually working when you're building go to market systems for the global companies. In the times of AI, there are no more local companies. We are all turning into the global companies. So have that in mind. My name is, if you don't know yet, Nemanja Živković. I'm the founder of Funky Marketing and my senior partner at the Funky Enterprises. I decided to stop calling the number at 120 plus companies, including companies like Microsoft, Deloitte, Wix, Generali, Marsh McLennan, and many others. And I'm helping them build go-to-market system that actually works globally. So, volume four, I'm gonna try to dive into the 8 topics, going even deeper. So, ready, steady, and go. The first topic is something that I see people already forgot, and they already remember the name of this next topic as something that kind of feels like dirty, right? And something that is not working. What I'm talking about webinars. So we're going to talk about the people that are saying that webinar is dead, but I say long live the webinar. So let's check what actually works in 2020, 2026. So let me tell you about the average B2B webinar in this last year or a couple of years back in the most B2B companies. So 45 minutes of slides, people are reading through them. Now let's move to the other slide, generic case studies, feature dumps, ending with any questions, followed by an awkward silence. 12 attendees, usually, half of whom have their camera off, are clearly doing email or drinking wine, watching sports, whatever. Just the sound is going on. And then the company wonders why the hell webinars don't work anymore. Guys, webinars aren't dead. Bad webinars are dead. And 95% of webinars are shit, are bad. Webinars became the default lazy content format, which amazed me because they are more closer to the sales than they are closer to the marketing, right? We need to generate leads. Let's do a webinar. We need to educate the market. Hell yes, let's do a webinar. We need content for nurturing our prospects. Let's do a webinar. So the market got flooded with mediocre webinars. Everybody's inbox is full of webinar invites. Everyone's calendar is booked and blocked with webinar commitments. They don't even want to look, not even to show up. People got webinar fatigue. And it's not happening because the format is bad, guys. It's happening because the execution is terrible. Execution is shit. But here's the thing, webinars still work. And they work only when they are done right. So what does it mean? Let me show you the difference. Format for the webinar, which is dead. Generic title. Let's say like 5 practices for better marketing. Boring. Slide decks with 40 slides. Speaker there is reading through all the bullet points. Case study at the end. CTA to book a demo. Recording sent to everyone who registered but didn't attend. Okay? That's not how it works. That's why this shit is dead. But living webinar format is a different beast. So start with specific promise. How we cut, let's say, CAC, customer acquisition cost, by 60% in 90 days at this company. Start with no slides or minimal slides, like 5 to 10 maximum. Do a live walkthrough of actually work, like share your screen, share real examples, share actual numbers. Workshop elements included where attendees do something. They don't just watch the webinar, right? It needs to be interactive. No pitch, just value. I mean, sure, the pitch is implied, work with us to get results like this, of course, right? But you don't need to pitch them directly. So no recordings. You have to be there. You won't get the recordings. This is only happening now. So see the difference? The dead format is just a glorified sales presentation pretending to be an education. Nothing is giving you results if you just pretend for it to be that format. The living format is actually education with a sales implication. So here are a few things to think about when it comes to the webinars. Go with being specific or being generalist. Nobody wants to attend like best practices for LinkedIn marketing, unless I'm the one doing it, right? Everyone wants to attend the exact LinkedIn strategy we used to generate 47 enterprise leads in 60 days at Microsoft, for example. Sounds more specific, right? More real. Then show your work. B2B companies, especially the bigger ones, are so afraid to show their work. Don't tell people what to do. Show them how did you do it, how you did it. Screen share. Walk them through the actual campaigns. Share real numbers. Let them see behind the curtains. I understand that this is scary for the most companies. We cannot share our secrets, Nemanja. That's cool. Then your webinar will be shit, generic, and nobody will care. We are all satisfied. The companies winning with webinars are showing everything because they understand, and they understand that knowing what to do and actually doing it are completely different things. You actually need to show that you can do things and that you have done things. Make it like a workshop. Don't make it like a presentation. This is the common mistakes you are all making. The best webinars aren't just passive. They need to be active. There is a video and content overload with people. People are interactive. If you give them a framework, a template, a tool, and you work through it together, it can happen. Here's our ICP definition worksheet. Everyone pull it up. You share the link, you share the screen, whatever it is. Let's figure it out for your business right now. How does that sound? So now people are engaged. They are actually doing the work. They are getting value they can use immediately. But the moment you pitch, you break the trust. People came for education. Education. You promised them education. You promised value. So deliver it. The pitch is implicit, right? If you just show them how to do something valuable and it's clear you're really good at this, they will reach out if they want help. You don't need to say, and if you want us to do this for you, book a call, silly bullshit. Guys, it's obvious. You don't need to say obvious things. Okay? Now, since it's the webinar, you need to make it a little bit different than LinkedIn Live, for example. Make it exclusive. Limit attendance. Only 50 spots. Only 10 spots. Only 20 spots. Registration closes 24 hours before. There are no recordings. Why do you need to do that? Well, because scarcity creates perceived value. And because you actually do want a smaller, more engaged group, right? So I would rather have like, I don't know, 15, 20 people who are deeply engaged than 200 people who registered and didn't show up or they don't want to turn the camera on, right? Then one more mistake companies are making is doing these pre-recorded webinars. When they record it and then they just play it. It feels like watching a commercial, right? Or not even a commercials are interesting. This is boring. Live webinars feel like being in a room with someone who knows what they're talking about, right? Live is riskier. You might mess up, right? Tech might fail. This stream might break. You cannot edit out the awkward parts. Good. That's what makes it real. Now, let's go and look a couple of examples. I've been doing a lot of webinars in my career, but this one, I've been doing a session for enterprise LinkedIn strategy called How We Got 12, for example, Microsoft Azure SQL engineers to publish thought leadership consistently without hating it, right? So I actually did that one. So did that program with Microsoft. So I didn't do the slides. What I did, especially with Microsoft, I screen shared LinkedIn. I walked them through this is exact templates you should use. This is the real comment strategy that we do. This is real examples of of the post and the results. This is the 50-minute daily workflow. These are the metrics we track. Why we did that, right? So then I show them how to do them for their company. I pull up LinkedIn. I pick up one person on the team. I write a post for them using the framework right now. So when I did that, people do it in the session and they get value right away. Right? So no pitch, no demo request, no CTAs. Half the attendees reach out within a week asking to work together. Right? That's how you do it, guys, because it demonstrated expertise. I gave away the secret sauce. I showed I could help them get the results. And that's what working. Join us as we discuss the future of marketing with our expert guests. Bullshit, and it doesn't work. Who are the experts? What specific thing will I learn? Why should I care? Generic, boring, ignored. But most companies, the one more thing, should do fewer webinars, not more. Everybody is doing these monthly webinars because we need consistent content. But if your webinars are mediocre, you're training your audience to ignore it. And you don't do webinars for the content. Better do one exceptional webinar per quarter than 12 forgettable ones per year. Quality is always over quantity. Specificity over breadth and value over pitching. The webinar is not dead, but your webinar is dead. Congratulations. Fix it or kill it. Okay, now before my coffee gets cold, I need to get a few sips of it. And then we're going to go into the second topic. I'm really excited for this next one. Okay, so topic number 2 is something that I've been seeing lately and it pisses me off. Why your customer success team is band-aid on a broken go-to-market system. Let me tell you what customer success teams are really for. They exist to fix the promises sales made to that product cannot deliver. Think about it. They exist to fix the promises that sales made that product cannot deliver, right? You have the customers with a product, but you have a product that cannot deliver those promises. So customer success comes in and is trying to fix that. Sales promises the world. They will promise anything to sell. Yes, we can do that. Yes, we integrate with everything. Yes, we'll have you up and running in 2 weeks. Customer signs, get excited, and starts the onboarding. Then reality hits. The integration doesn't exist. Features, sure, they are on the roadmap, but implementation takes 3 months, not 2 weeks. And now the customer is frustrated, ready to churn. And then comes the customer success. Hey man, hey sir, let me help you with a workaround. Let me set up some custom workflows. Let me make sure you are getting value. In To translate that, let me paper or over the gap between what we sold you and what we actually deliver. Customer success live in between these two. So this is why customer success is a $20 billion industry. Not because customers need success, but because go-to-market systems are broken. Let me just paint the picture. How does it look like a healthy go-to-market system, right? Marketing generates demand from people who have the problem you solve. Sales then qualify that they have the problem, they can afford the solution and understand what they are buying, right? Product delivers the exactly what was promised. Customer success because succeeds because they bought the right thing and it does what they explained. Okay, in this system, sounds simple, right? Customer success is nice to have. Someone who helps customer optimize usage, discover advanced feature, expand into other use cases. But that's not what customer success does in most companies. In most companies, customer success is basically a crisis management, right? So they are managing expectations that weren't set correctly in the sales. They are teaching customers how to use features that should be intuitive. They are handling complaints about things that don't work as advertised. They are convincing customers not to churn because they are not getting value, and they are begging customers. They are begging customers to be the references, even though they are not happy with the tool. So this is a symptom of a broken system. And if you need a large customer success team, it means one of the three things is broken. Think about it. One, sales is selling the wrong people. They are hitting quota by closing anyone who will sign, regardless of the fit. So customers arrive is spending something the product doesn't do, or they don't have the resources to implement properly, or they are not the right size, industry, or maturity. Customer success spends all their time trying to make bad fit customers successful. Impossible to do. Okay, second one, product doesn't deliver what sales promises. There's a gap between the pitch and the reality. Sales says it's easy, man. Product is hard. Sales says it works out of the box. Product requires, I don't know, like 6 weeks of configuration. So sales says it integrates with everything. And product says it integrates with just three things, right? Customer success bridges that gap manually and expensively. And the third one, onboarding is broken. The product is fine. Okay. The customer is a good fit. But the process of getting from sign to contract to value realization is a disaster. There are unclear next steps, no dedicated onboarding support, confusing documentation, technical issues, waiting on integrations, waiting on data migrations, and customer success becomes the project managers. But not only that, they become the therapist, they become the technical support all at once. Now, here's something people don't want to know, don't want to hear. If you fix your go to market system, you could cut your customer success team by 60%. 60%. That sounds harsh, but that's true. Because here's what happened when you actually fix the system. First one, you fix the sales, right? Only close customers who are a good fit. It means smaller deal volume, sure, but higher quality. Customers who succeed without us holding their hands. It fixes product market fit. Build what you are selling or sell what you have built already. Stop the gap between pitch and the reality. And it fixes the onboarding. It makes the first 30 days bulletproof. Clear milestone, proactive communication, fast time to value. When you do these three things, customer success become strategic. It doesn't become tactical. What does it mean? Tactical versus strategic. They focus on expansion revenue, so upsells, cross sells. They focus on optimization, helping customers get more value. They focus on advocacy, turning the happy customers into I don't know references and case studies. They focus on feedback loops, the most important thing if you want to grow your business. Product insights from the users. So this is the high value work, guys. This is what customer success should be doing. Not firefighting, not apologizing, not being doing the therapy, not convincing people not to churn. I work with a B2B SaaS company. They were like 70, 80 people in a customer success team, right? Churn was 25% annually. Customer success is constantly putting out fires, right? We audited their go-to-market. Sales is hitting quota by closing SMBs who couldn't afford implementation. They were promising features that didn't exist, so therefore they were setting unrealistic timelines. Product was solid but complex, required significant configuration. It took 60 to 90 days to value. So onboarding was, you can guess, it was chaotic. There was no standardized processes, customer success, figure it out case by case. So what did we do? We fix it by changing ICP and the sales comp. No more SMB deals. We focus on the mid-market and enterprise only. So it means longer sales cycles, but higher quality deals. So sales comp tied to 12 months retention and not just closed deals, right? So we build the onboarding playbook on top of that. Standardized 30, 60, 90 days plan, what is happening in 30 days, in 60 days, and in 90 days. Every customer got the same proven processes. We got the clear milestones and we got the proactive check-ins, okay? And the product roadmap aligned to the sales promise. Sales could only sell what existed or what was releasing in the next quarter with a firm date. So in 18 months, what happened? Churn dropped down from 25% to 12%. Customer success team was cut from 80 to 35 people. Expansion revenue got up to three times. Customer success team was happy. Imagine that. No more firefightings and customers were happy also because they were getting what they paid for and what they expected. And you see, we didn't improve customer success. We fixed the system that was creating the problems customer success was solving. Right? And here's the test whether your customer success team is bandaid or strategic. Ask them a few things. What percentage of your time is spent on firefighting and crisis management? What percentage of your time is spent on onboarding or getting the first value? What percentage of your time is spent on convincing customers not to churn? And what percentage of your time is spent on expansion, optimization, and advocacy? If the first three are more than 60% of their time, your go to market is broken. If the last one is more than 60% of their time, you build a real customer success function, right? Most companies are in the first category, so they are firefighters. And they keep hiring more customer success people to handle the problem, to put down the fires instead of fixing what causes the fire. It's like hiring more people to move the floor instead of fixing, how do we call it, the leaking roof, right? So before you hire your next customer success person, ask why are your customers struggling? Is it because we sold to the wrong people? Is it because we promised things we don't deliver? Is it because onboarding is broken? Fix those things. Fix those things, then hire for customer success. Otherwise, you will just be scaling your dysfunction. Your customer success team shouldn't exist to save bad customers from bad sales and bad onboarding. They should exist to turn good customers into great outcomes. Okay? Damn, I love fixing these things, and I just remember that company I was working with. I love having headaches. That's what I call them. But those are the headaches I enjoy um, putting down and solving. So that's what I love to do. Okay, shall we move to the next one? This is the one I love. There is a hiring delusion. A lot of companies are suffering from, and the topic I'm going to cover next is why your A players are actually B players who just interview well. What does it mean? Let me go and try to explain it right from the start, because it gets really interesting. Do we have some questions? Maybe let me check out. Nebusha webinar seems a bit outdated. Maybe yes, maybe no. They work. I explained that, so I hope you heard that. Um, okay, perfect. So let's move. Guys, feel free to ask questions anytime, and I'll try to answer them this time or maybe next time, depending on when do you ask and what are the questions. So every founder wants to hire and thinks they hire A players, right? We only hire the best, Nemanja. Our bar is incredibly high. We are very selective when we hire. And then 6 months later, they are frustrated because half of their team is underperforming and the other half is carrying the load. So, but here's the truth: you didn't hire the A players, at first. You hire B players who are exceptional at interviewing. So let me just show you the difference. I want to tackle this topic a lot, but I want to explain a couple of things. So A players, who are A players? A players are people who execute at the highest level consistently. They need minimal direction once they understand the outcome. They don't need you to guide them. They raise the performance of everyone around them. So they are the team player. They solve problems you didn't know you had. And they find out different problems to solve. And they create more value than they cost immediately. I don't know if you've ever been hired as an A player or you hire A players, but I've been hired as an A player and I try to hire A players. Now I'm working with them, but I try to hire them and I got into exactly these problems. That's what I'm talking you about it. So B players who interview well are people who sound smart in meetings, who have impressive resumes. They know all the right buzzwords. They give great answers to hypothetical questions, and they look the part. The problem is that the interview process is optimized to find B players, not the A players. So think about what's happening in the hiring process, okay? Resume screen said, did they work at impressive companies? Do they have the right titles? Did they go to good schools? None of these tell you if they can actually do the work. Okay? It tells you that they were good at getting hired by other companies. Phone screen, can they articulate their experience? Do they sound professional? Are they personable? Still not about performance, it's about communication. Okay? Interview. Can they answer behavioral questions? Do they have example of success? Do they actually ask smart questions? Right. So here's the thing: preparing for interviews is a skill, and it's completely different from the skill of actually doing the job. I hired some people who crushed at the interview, articulate confident, great stories, references, love them, but they were mediocre employees because interviewing well and performing well are different competencies. Okay, so how can we actually tell the difference, and what can we do to predict the performance? Couple of things. Ask them not hypothetical questions. Ask them questions about the actual work. Here's the real problem we are facing. Show me how you would solve it. You have 48 hours, right? This eliminates 90% of the bullshit because now they have to actually do the thing, not just talk about how they would do the thing. Right? Most B players cannot deliver. They are great at talking about frameworks and methodologies, but when you say show me, they fall apart. Some of them will ask you to pay them for it, and that's perfectly fine paying them. You are hiring A players, okay? Trial projects. Also, some of them will ask you to pay them for the trial projects, pay them. It's okay, you're looking for A players. Hire them for 2 or 4 week paid period or project before bringing them full time, right? Real work, real deadlines, real collaboration with the team. You will learn more in 2 weeks than of working together than in 10 rounds of interviews. Can they execute without hand holding? Do they ask the right questions? Do they deliver quality time, work on time? Do they handle feedback? These are all the things that matter, and you cannot assess them in an interview. Now, another thing, uh, see if you can get the track record of shipping. Not titles, not companies they work for, not education, but what have they actually built? Have they actually shipped something? What results have they driven? And I don't mean I was a part of the team that grew revenue 300%, right? That's what 80% of CMOs or marketing performance people are writing in their LinkedIn headlines. It's all bullshit. And anybody who's been there know that, right? I mean, what specifically did they do? What was their individual contribution? Can they show the receipts, right? Most people cannot because they were part of the large team doing incremental work and they were taking credits for the overall outcome. A players can walk you through exactly what they did, why they did it, what worked, what didn't, and what they learned. Okay? Another thing, ask them about failures, right? Maybe this is not a surprise, but like B players will give you a humble brag discusses a failure story. My biggest weakness is possibly, I don't know, I worked too hard. I failed because I cared too much about quality. I was too ambitious and then the team couldn't keep it up. That's bullshit. A players will tell you about real failures. When they screw up, when they learn how they change the approach, right? Those kind of things. Also, when it comes to the question they will ask you, B players ask about the benefits, about the vacation policy, about organizational structure, about career path. A players ask about the business. What's the biggest challenge? Why hasn't it been solved yet? Give me the details. What have you tried? What resources are available to me? How will success be measured? They are already thinking about how to solve your problems before they even got hired. Okay? Right? But most founders are terrible at identifying airplanes because they are optimizing for comfort and not for the competencies. So they hire people who all went to the same school, work in the same companies, talk the same way, look the part, and this is bullshit. So skip the resume screen. I don't care where you work and went to school. Send me your example. I will pay you for 1 or 2 weeks to do something specific, something we actually need done. Okay? So we work together. I'm in trenches with them during the trial. I see how they work, not just what they produce. I'm looking at what they're typing, how they're doing it. I check for self-driven execution. Did they need constant direction? Did they take ownership and drive it forward? Right? If they crushed it, hire them. If they didn't, pass. Now, no, let's do another round of interviews. Right? Those kind of things. And other true A players are expensive, right? When it comes to salaries, but B players are more expensive because they cost you, right? A players produce the output 10x the output, but B players don't. So think about it. It's a good topic to get into more in some of the next uh, Nemanja Unfiltered episodes. Okay, shall we do another one? Okay, let's try this one. Why most B2B companies are just expensive business card and what actually works. Okay? This is the one that is very interesting. As a host of a couple of podcasts and a frequent guest on those, I can tell you that every B2B founder wants to start a podcast now. We're launching a podcast to build thought leadership. It's great for the brand awareness. We'll interview industry leaders. It's all cool. You and 10,000 others B2B companies. But what usually happens is that they record 10 episodes. They upload them to Spotify, post about it on LinkedIn, get 37 downloads per episode, half of which are their own team checking if it uploaded correctly, right? And after 6 months, they quietly stop. No announcement, just stop. I see this all the time. LinkedIn is full of B2B podcasts with 8 episodes, the last one published 11 months ago. I was a guest on some that weren't even published. I'm like, why did you invite me? Then I created kind of a question that I asked ahead to see, if they even publish some of the episodes. So why do they all fail? Because they're treating the podcast as a marketing channel, not something that builds our relationships. And I'm the one to talk about because I use podcasts to get into the US markets and to create relationship with some of the biggest names in the industry. Okay, so let me break this down. What most B2B podcasts do, they interview the industry leaders, people they don't know. They're pitching them via cold outreach. They hire an agency to get people to their podcast. They ask generic questions. So tell us about your journey. They produce polished, edited episodes. They publish on all platforms. They promote on LinkedIn, hoping for downloads. LinkedIn was heavy on links before, so it's not happening, even if we should share shorts. They measure success by listener numbers. So results, 50 downloads per episode. Okay, but no inbound business. Lots of effort, zero return of investment. So they quit. But if we're going to talk about what actually works, you should look at the podcast as a tool to build relationships with people you want to work with. Not random influencers, not celebrities, people you specifically want to do business with. Okay? Those are potential clients, those are strategic partners, those are investors, those are people whose networks you want access to. The podcast is just an excuse to get 60 minutes of their time. That's the value. Not the downloads. Sure. Also, 50 minutes before you start recording, 50 minutes when you finish recordings. That's when you get to know each other, right? So let me give you a real example. A founder, a friend of mine who started the podcast specifically targeting CFOs of mid-marketing SaaS companies. So that was his ICP. And he sold financial planning software. He didn't interview the thought leaders. He said, I'm going to interview CFOs at companies he wanted as clients. Okay. So the pitch was, I'm doing a podcast about how modern CFOs are adapting to the hypergrowth. I love to feature your story. Every CFO said yes, because everybody likes to be on the podcast these days. It's flattering to be featured. It's easier than a sales call, and they get content that they can share with their network. Okay. But during the interview, he's learning about their business, their challenges, their priorities. He's building the report. He's demonstrating expertise through the questions he asks. After the episode, he sends them the recording, of course. He promotes it, he tags them on LinkedIn. Now they're connected. Okay, that's the first step. He has a reason to stay in touch. Hey man, saw your company just raised Series B. Congrats. I remember you mentioned wanting to scale the finance team. Curious how that's going. Okay. 3 months later, half of those CFOs became clients or introduced him to somebody who did. Okay. The podcast had 40 downloads per episodes. So less than those, episodes. Nobody cared because the return of investment wasn't in the audience. It was in the relationships. That's how you use a B2B podcast. Now let me contrast this with a typical approach. Most B2B podcasts optimize for the audience size. They want to build the top podcast in their category. So they interview big names to try to get visible to their audience. But big names don't drive listeners to the unknown podcast. Get the self-reported attribution form on your website, and you will see that. There are two problems. So that's first one. Just because you interview somebody with 100K followers, it doesn't mean that the audience will listen to your show. Okay, they have no incentive to promote you. You're just another interview in a sea of hundreds they've done. I had Rory Sutherland on the podcast. I know what I'm talking about. He comes in, I can barely ask him a question. He comes with the agenda and he just talks, right? And the second one, even if you build an audience, it doesn't convert to business. Having 5,000 listeners is great. But if none of them are your ICP, what's the point? Did somebody reach out after they heard the episode? Are they your ICP? You build an audience of junior marketers who like consuming free content. They're not buying your 50K dollars per year enterprise software. So let me give you a framework that you can use. Stop optimizing for downloads, focus on relationship return of investment. Ask yourself, who are the 50 people I most want to build relationships with? Would they say yes to being on a podcast? What would I learn about their business in that conversation? How would I stay connected after that? That's your strategy. Okay? But Nemanja, what about building an audience? What about brand awareness? What about thought leadership? That's all valid questions, right? But here's the thing, like building a real podcast audience takes years and hundreds of episodes. Look at my first million. Look at how I built this. Masters of Scale. They've been doing it for 5 to 7 years. Hundreds of episodes. Professional productive, distribution deals. You're not going to compete with that as a side project. So either go all in on audience building, which means multiple episodes per week, years of commitment, serious production budget, or use the podcast as a relationship tool. Right? Don't half-ass both. So what's the frequency then? One episode per week, 52 conversations per year with people you want to know. Long form conversation, let's say 45 to 60 minutes, not overly produced, and a real dialogue. Promotion is minimal. Post it on LinkedIn, tag the guest, that's it. You're not trying to build a massive audience. Use Opus to cut you that in short clips and then use that follow up. This is where the work happens, right? So after the episode, you stay connected, you introduce them to the people, you add value to their business, you interact in the comments, in the inbox, you build a real relationship, right? So measuring relationship, build, deal closed, partnerships, forms, so not downloads. Okay? So that's what should you focus on. Now, one more thing. Quality of conversation matters more than production quality. So it doesn't matter like editing, intro music, graphics, fancy, whatever. That none of that matters if the conversation is generic, right? Make it raw, make it unedited, making where both people are genuinely learning from each other than just a polished interview that sounds like every other podcast in the space. Your competitive advantage is the depth of thought, not the production. Ask better questions, go deeper, find out what nobody asked those people. Find out, show them that you know what they're working on. Be curious, challenge the assumptions, make a conversation, right? Don't just ask questions, they answer, and you move on. Make it a discussion. That's how a lot of people hire me because I was discussing with them on the podcast, then they recommended me to the other companies. That's what makes people want to be on your show, and that's what makes the conversation valuable for both of you. Okay? Use podcast as a relationship building machine. Okay, perfect. Now, let me get a little bit more water. No questions, which is cool. I can keep on going, but I would rather answer people's questions. But it is what it is. I use this an hour early uh, time to do this, so maybe that's it. People in the US didn't wake up. People from Balkans and Europe don't ask questions. Maybe that's why we fall behind, right? Okay, so let's go and talk about one topic that I really like. This is what I work on work on with companies, and it's called the differentiation lie, right? Why we are different means you're exactly the same. This is the common mistake company is making. Every B2B company claim we are different. We are not like other companies. Our approach is unique. What sets us apart is this. And then they describe the exact same thing everybody else in their category says. We are focused on results, not just on deliverables. Sure, okay. We take a strategic approach, not just tactical. Like everybody else, we are true partners, not just vendors. Good for you. Everybody says they're partners. Here's the truth: if your differentiation is how you describe your service, you are not differentiated. Real differentiation isn't what you say, it's what you do that others can't or won't do. Let me repeat that. Real differentiation is in what you do that others cannot or will not do. How does the real fake differentiation looks like? Okay, let's look at possibly consulting companies. Okay, we bring deep industry expertise. We deliver actionable insights. We focus on implementation, not just on a strategy. Every consulting firm says this. Okay, word for word. Marketing agencies. Okay, take a deep breath. They say we are data driven. We focus on return of investment, not on the vanity metrics. We are an extension of your team. Every marketing agency says that. The fuck, guys, everybody says that. Let's go and look at the SaaS companies. We're built for scalability. Seriously? Our platform is intuitive and easy to use. Really? We provide white glove customer support. Every SaaS company says that. You can see the pattern, right? So this is not differentiation. These are the table stakes dressed up as, I don't know, a unique value proposition. A real differentiation is structural. It's something about how you operate. It creates a genuine competitive advantage. So let me give you an example. It can be a pricing model that is the differentiation. So everybody charges retainers, okay? You charges the revenue share. That's different. Actually different, right? Now, not just we say we are different, but we do business fundamentally different. Most companies won't do this because, I don't know, it's risky. They want revenue. They don't want to tie their compensation to client outcomes and those kind of things. So if you do it, you're actually differentiated. The differentiation can be the delivery model. Okay, everyone does projects over 6 to 12 months. You do 2 week sprints with guarantees outcome. That's the differentiation, right? It's different. It changes how clients buy. It changes your risk profile. It changes your operational model. Most companies won't do this because it requires completely rethinking how they deliver. It's hard. That's hard shit. So if you do it, you're actually differentiated. Then it can be the market you are focusing on. Everybody says we work with mid-market B2B SaaS companies, okay? You said we only work with B2B SaaS companies in healthcare that have raised Series B and are preparing for Series C. Sounds differently, right? That's different, that's specific, and it's credible. And most companies won't do this because they are afraid of turning away businesses. They want to keep their options open. Guys, those are the most common mistakes all of you are making. So if you do it, you're actually differentiate. You see how these are different from your strategic partners who deliver results. They are not claims, not choices, structural choices about how you operate. And it matters because you claim differentiation is easy to copy. If your differentiation is just like positioning the language, it's only in the language, not in the work. Any competitor can copy it tomorrow. Oh, they are saying they are data driven. Let's say that too. If your differentiation is structural, then this is hard to copy. Okay, If your differentiation is in how you price things, how you deliver, or who you serve, competitors can just copy the language. But they would have to completely rebuild their business model to actually do it the same as you do it. That's the real moat in this. Okay? Now, a few most common fake differentiators. Um, our people. Our people makes us stand out. Bullshit. Everybody has people. Everybody says that about their people. Okay? Um, what makes us different is our team. We hire the best talent. We have this deep expertise. This is what everyone says that when they cannot articulate the real differentiation. Okay, the real problem is that your people aren't that different. You all hire from the same talent pool. You all have similar backgrounds. You all went to similar schools and work in similar companies. So sure, yes, you have great people. So does everybody else in your category. That's not a differentiation. That's just, I don't know. Real differentiation from people only works if you have structural advantages in attracting or developing talent that others don't have. For example, you only hire people who've been operators, not just consultants. You have a proprietary training program that takes 6 months. You partner with specific universities to get first access to the talent. I recently worked with a company, I can even say their name, Simplify. They do marketing automation, AI automation, they build systems, and they have deep relationship with universities, so they hire from university. And that's actually their differentiate because it's in the core of their existence, in the way they work. It's structural. We hire great people is not a differentiation. Okay, so how you can test those things? If a competitor wanted to copy your differentiation, how long would it take for them to copy it? Answer that question, you will know. If the answer is they could do it tomorrow by changing their website copy, or not differentiated. If the answer is they would have to go and completely rebuild their business model, which would take 2+ years, significant risk, then you are differentiated. Okay, so now some of the companies that are differentiated, and some companies that maybe, so you can see and level up what I'm talking about, and how we are going with this, so you can actually feel the example. I don't know if you use Basecamp. I use it only because of this differentiation model that they have. Everybody says Basecamp, they're old, but I was using them because of this. They are differentiated on a business model. No VC funding. We said no, and there are no VC funding. They are profitable from the day one. They have no sales team. They have product-led growth only. Competitors cannot copy this without completely changing their cap table and growing strategy. Okay? That's one example. Another one, also the company we all know and use, it's called Stripe. Right? They are differentiated on developer experience. API first, right? Obsessive documentation, developer community. Competitors can build similar features, but recreating the ecosystem and development trust, it takes years. Then we have another company which is also connector, the glue company. I call them like that. It's called Zapier. You probably heard about that. They are differentiated on integrations, right? The glue company. 5,000 plus apps integrations. Competitors can build a workflow automation tool, but getting 5,000 integrations partnerships is years of work. Did you notice how none of these are real customer focused or we deliver results? That's structural, operational, and real. Now, what if you are not actually differentiate? Fair question. Most companies aren't. They are good at what they do, but they are not fundamentally different from competitors. And that's okay. You don't need to be radically differentiated to build a successful business, right? But then stop pretending that you are. Stop saying what makes us different is our strategic approach. Just be honest. We're really good at solving this one problem for this type of company. We are not the only ones who can do it, but we do it well. We've done it many times and we'll take great care of you. That's more compelling than fake differentiation, right? Because what the client actually care about is, can you actually solve my problem? Have you done it before? Will I enjoy working with you? They don't need you to be different. They need you to be competent, trustworthy, and pleasant to work with. So guys, differentiation is overrated and execution is always underrated. If you cannot point to something structural that makes you generally different, stop trying to manufacture differentiation through marketing language. Just be excellent at what you do. This is rare enough. There are not many people who are extremely good at what they do. Okay? So I will go through one more topic and then I will leave three for the next time. But let's go and cover one more. It's getting hot in here. Okay, so topic number 6 for volume 4 of Nemanja Unfiltered is why your premium positioning is just high prices without the high value. Let's talk about that premium positioning, okay? Every B2B consultant and agency wants to be premium. They read the books, they rebrand, they raise their prices, they add phrases like white glove service, boutique approach to their website, and then they wonder why the hell clients push back on pricing and negotiation drag on forever. The problem is you are not premium. You are just expensive. There is a difference between these two. Premium means you deliver disproportionate value. The client pays more and gets significantly more in return. Return of investment is obvious. Expensive means you charge more for the same thing everybody else does and hope the client doesn't know this. They know this. Trust me. So, the premium positioning includes higher prices, higher value delivered, better clients experience, exclusive access to expertise on resources others don't have, and demonstrable outcomes that justify the premium. Okay? Expensive positioning, on the other hand, includes higher prices, same value as competitors, standard service delivery, and hope that premium branding justifies the price. Okay? Most companies that claim premium positioning are in the second category. They just raise prices without raising the value and they are confused why it's not working. Guys, I see this all the time. Marketing agency charges 20K dollars per month instead of the market rate, which is like, I don't know, like 10K dollars per month. Because we are premium. That's not a differentiation, right? We just talked about it. What's different about their services? Nothing material. Same deliverables, same team structure, same process. They are just rebranded as boutique and strategic and double their prices. But clients aren't stupid. They can tell when they're paying more for the same fucking thing. Now, let me show you what actually premium positioning looks like. Let me use an example. I worked recently with a law firm. So, this is a good example. Top tier law firm that charges, I don't know, like 1,500 hours per day, right? Dollars, when other firms charge like $500 per hour. So why do clients pay it? Because they have partner level attention to every matter, not just junior associate. They track record winning cases others don't, others cannot. They have relationship with judges and opposing counsel that creates strategic advantages, and they have access to specialized expertise, IP, M&A, litigation. That's generally rare. And the value is clear. You're paying for expertise and access you cannot get elsewhere. Okay? Now, let's talk about consulting. So, management consulting. Okay? McKinsey charges 3 to 5x what smaller firms charge. Why? Because they have access to proprietary data and benchmarks. They have a global network of experts across every industry. They have the track record of similar transformations, and McKinsey brand itself creates the internal politics cover, right? Nobody gets fired for hiring McKinsey. Again, the premium is justified by actually differentiated value. Now, if we look at luxury goods, I don't know, like Hermes bags, they cost $10,000 when similar quality bags they cost like $1,000. So why do people actually pay it? Because they have craftsmanship. Every bag takes 18 hours, made by one artisan. They have the scarcity. You can just buy one. There's a waiting list. They have the status signal. Everybody knows what Birkin costs. They have the resale value. Okay, they are approachable. They are not desperate. Uh, Depreciated. So the premium is built into the product itself, not just the marketing. Okay. Now compare this to the typical B2B premium position. Marketing agency that says we are premium because we are strategic. What does that mean? You think about things before doing them? Congratulations, it's called having a process, right? Consultant says we are premium because we are selective about our clients. Amazing. Being selective doesn't make you premium. It makes you exclusive, maybe. But if the actual value delivered is the same, you're just expensive. SaaS company says we're premium because we have dedicated account managers. So you provide customer service. Not a premium. That's standard for B2B software at any price point. So ask yourself, can you articulate what the client gets for the premium that they cannot get elsewhere? Not better service or strategic approach, specific, tangible, differentiated value. If you can, that's not a premium. Now, let me tell you what premium position requires. It requires that you have provable outcomes. You need case studies that are showing that clients who work with you achieve materially better results than clients who work with competitors. You cannot just show them um, the promised land. You need to have a proof that you have taken other people to the promised land. Not we increase the revenue. Everybody claims that. We increase revenue 3x faster than the industry benchmarks. Here's the data. Structural advantages as well. You have access to something others don't. Proprietary data, unique methodology, network effects, strategic relationships, something that creates, I don't know, like a genuine barrier to competition. You have then a limited availability. True premium brands, they cannot serve everybody. There's natural scarcity. So if you take any client who can pay, you're not premium, you're just expensive. You need to have a better client experience, for example, which doesn't mean we respond to every email quickly, okay? That's standard. This is direct access to senior people, proactive communication, anticipating needs, making the client feel like they are getting treatment others don't. Or maybe you have premium clients. Your client roster is made up of companies that expect premium and pay for it regularly. So if you're selling premium services to companies that typically buy cheap, you're not position premium, you're position aspirational. Most companies fail in trying to create premium positioning through marketing and pricing alone. So they redesigned the website. They add testimonials from premium clients who may or not be actually be getting premium service, right? So they raise prices. They add language about being boutique or exclusive, but they don't change the fundamental value delivery. Okay, they add clients, see through it immediately, and when they see through it in the sales process, let's try to imagine a picture what is happening. Client will say, why are you 2 times more expensive than the pricing other firms are giving us? Well, we're premium. We take a strategic approach, we are focused on outcomes. We are not focused on deliverables. So the client say, okay, but what specifically do I get for double the price? You get white glove service, dedicated team, and deep expertise. So the client says, but other firms said the same thing. And now you're stuck because you don't have the real answer. Real premium positioning gives you a crisp answer to that question. Frame it like this. You get access to our proprietary methodology that is proven across 50 plus companies to reduce customer acquisition cost by an average of 40% in 90 days. The other firms, believe me, they don't have this because we spent 5 years developing it. Here are the case studies. That is premium. Or you get me guys personally, Nemanja, not a junior team. For example, in Funky Enterprises, we are all senior. You'll be doing this for 15 years in companies like Microsoft and Deloitte, right? So I know what I'm doing. The other firms will staff this with people who have 2 or 3 years of experience. That is premium. Or you get access to our network of 200 plus CMOs who are going through the same challenges. We'll connect you with 3 to 5 of them for peer learning. The other firm don't have this network. That's premium. Can you see the difference? These are specific, tangible, and differentiated. So write down exactly what clients gets for the premium. Be specific. Then ask yourself, could my competitors do the same thing? Can they offer the same thing? If yes, you're not premium. If no, and you can prove it with data or case studies, then maybe you're premium. But if not, stop calling yourself premium. You're just expensive. And expensive without justification doesn't win the premium clients, right? So true premium positioning is earned through differentiated value delivery and not some claiming dot marketing language. Build the value first and then change to premium, not the other way around. Okay? Good. That's it, guys, for today. As I see that we don't have questions, which is fine. So let's go on. See you next week. Turn on notification on my LinkedIn profile so you actually see when I post the event for the next LinkedIn Live, so you can ask questions live, or subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can actually get the episodes when I publish them every Sunday evening. We publish this episode as a recording, as a premiere on YouTube. And if you need help, obviously, I don't need to implicitly say that. As we said for the webinar, I'm here to help you out. Cheers, guys. Keep it funky. See you on LinkedIn. Bye bye.